Hi, my name is Kat, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome to a new video. Today is going to be my September TBR game. I'm really excited. I love picking my TBR this way. But before we get started, I just have some general housekeeping to do because I'm going to be changing a few things from how I've been doing things going into the future. First and foremost, I've now played this game for 2 months, and I sort of tried as it like a trial period, if you will. And I found that the amount of books is just a lot for me, especially because I have something new, non-book troop related, that's going to be happening. That is probably going to take away some time from reading. So I just think that the amount of books that it picks right now is going to be a little too much going forward. So I'm thinking to, because I've been playing with 3 dice for 1 month, I think I'm going to be doing like 2 dice, but make it bi-monthly. That way it'll, give me a little less books per month to read for this, and it will hopefully be a bit more doable as a result. There's like a loose strand that came loose from my braid, and it's annoying me. So that is number one. I'm just gonna play the game like I have been for now, but it's something I'm thinking about, so maybe that's something that you see next month. Maybe next month I still will just do it for 1 month, we'll see, but that's, I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm going to do with that, but I'm thinking about that. Then I also have 2 things with like the game itself that I would like to change, so I'll take you over to like the view where you see the board. So we have the board here, and as is usual for Game with the Goose, we have spots with geese on them, right? And so traditionally they're always on the, like every 9 multiplied by something, so 9, 18, 27, and so on, and then those like 9 multiplied by something minus 4, so 5, 14, 23, and so on, which you see here. And then if I land on those, I grab a prompt from the jar and then move backwards or forward depending on what direction the goose is looking at. But if you look, you'll also maybe notice that there are 3 spots that have geese on them that do not fit that, which is the number 12 over here. We see the goose's butt. We see number 30 where we have 2 geese that are flying, and then 39 we have 2 geese holding a branch. What I would like to do for those is I want to also take a prompt from the jar, but not move backwards or forward. And then that way I can just label the jar officially the goose jar that is then filled with goose prompts. I will also no longer draw these prompts in the 2 sort of more special spots that do something and are good ones, which is the bridge at number 6 and the maze at number 24. It's really weird pointing if you're looking from a different place than where the camera is, but whatever. So I'll be no longer be drawing from that, but like in reality that doesn't really change, because the thing with the bridge is that it'll bring you over to number 12, and then the thing with the maze is that you get lost and you have to go back to number 30. So it moves to a place with a goose. So it'll still be like a goose prompt in that role, but for a different reason. And then also if I just with a normal roll, land on one of those 3 spots. That'll also be a goose prompt. So that is one thing. Another thing that I thought would maybe fun, you see that most of the squares in the version that I have are set during the day, but there's 2 exceptions. We have the owl over here and the bat over there. I thought, because they're set at night, maybe it would be fun to, whenever I hit those 2 spots, to draw a normal prompt, because it's not a goose, but do the opposite of what it says on the prompt. So for example, if it says a book with a black cover, I'll read a book with a white cover. Or if it tells me to read a really short book, I'll put on a really long book. I will try to the best of my ability to come up with something, but of course there will be some prompts that, with all the will in the world, I just can't think of any opposite. So there I will just pick a new prompt and try to go with that. But I thought that would be something fun. We'll see how it goes. So that was it for the general stuff. So let's get into September. In September, I will be traveling. So I'm going to try and put in a few more ebooks because it's just easier to take with me if I'm traveling, because I just have to bring one e-reader versus like a whole stack of books. So that's one thing. Then of course I always have a few buddy reads that I try to get on here, so those are still a thing. And then thirdly, Evie from She Was Only Evie is hosting Short Stories October, which I hear a weird sound, which is a reading challenge, readathon type of thing, over the months of September and October, where she encouraged us to read at least one short story collection or anthology. So I'm going to try to get at least one of those on here as well. So yeah, that's it for intro. So let's see how I did in August. The August TBR did not go amazingly. I had one rollover from July, which was Anthem, which I did read. I had a book set in Latin America, or a Latin American inspired world. For that I had the Hacienda, which I DNF'd, unfortunately. Then I had the Dragon's Promise for a book with a magical word or creature in the title, and I wasn't able to get to that one. There were still a few more days left in August as I'm filming this, but I think I'll need all the rest of the month to finish the books that I'm currently reading, so I don't think I'll be able to get to it. So what I do if I wasn't able to read a book in the month that it was on TBR, I have 2 choices. I draw a prompt from the goose jar, and then I can decide if I want to do what appears on the prompt or if I want to just roll over the book into the next month, but I can decide that after I've seen whatever this is. So I'm gonna draw one for the Dragon's Promise. Let's go with this one. And the prompt I'll show you first is remove a book from my TBR. Well, I don't have any books yet, so I can't really do this. So then it just becomes like nothing really. Part of me with thinking, because The Dragon's Promise is on my 24 books in 2024, and it is on my priority series, that I would want to keep it. But it's either that or it's nothing. And if I don't keep it, I can maybe put it on here with a prompt, which means that I don't have to put on another book, which makes the September TBR more doable. I think I'm gonna do that. I can also always read it if it's not on the official TBR. So I think I'm gonna do that just for my own, just to make things easier for myself. But next in the August TBR, I had White Sargasso Sea by Jean Rice, which I read. I have Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie for a book that was about 600 pages, which I am currently still reading about 60% in. So I'm going to count that as read because I still have a few days to finish it. Then I had The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi for a book published between 2020 and the current year, which I didn't end up getting to, so let's draw once again. Let's go with this one. What did it say? 2 prompts, 1 book. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna roll that over. Also because it was my book club pick, which didn't, well, for Kirsten over at Radiance, her book club for August. Didn't end up getting into it, but the channels to chat always stay up a few months, so I can still chat in those during August. So that's gonna be a first rollover. So first book on the TBR is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi. And then the final book, no, the penultimate book actually, but the final book that I already picked was The Mystery of the Yellow Room by Gaston Leroux for the Endspot random number generator, which I also didn't end up getting to. So the jar is here a 3rd time. I think this is 2, but yes, this is 2. Let's go with the, is it? Can you see it? Remove a book during. Hi, this is me the next day. I think I figured out what I mean by the thing. I think it was supposed to say during the month, so that during the month, if there was a book that was like, I don't really want to read that or I'm not in the mood for that, I could take it off throughout the month. So basically, at the beginning of then the next month, if the point where I do either the rollover or the goose prompts, then there's 1 book that I don't have to do that for because I can take it off during the month. I think that that's what I meant. I just wrote it wrong. This won't change anything because you'll see me in a second just decide that I don't know what it means and pick a different one. And that's what I went with for the rest of the TBR, and I'm just going to keep it that way. But you know what? I just want to let you know that the mystery is solved. So yeah. Back to past me. I don't remember what I mean by this, so I'm just gonna throw it away and pick another one because I don't know what it was. Okay. Maybe I'll just cut that clip out. Or I keep it in, I don't know. Oh, that was upside down. Series spinner wheel. The thing is with series spinner wheel is that could be very nice to me or it could be very mean. And if I have to decide before I spin. So You know what? I actually have to finish some series. So you know what? I think we're just gonna do it. I'll insert the clip here, but I need to stop filming for that because I film on my phone and the spinner wheel's also on my phone, so I'll be back in a second. So, as you'll have seen, the series that I picked was ACOTAR, which actually worked out great because Bethany over at Beautiful Bookish Bethany is hosting the Maas Effect read along, where every month we read a book by Sarah J. Maas. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably sick of hearing me mentioning it in TBR videos. But the book for this month was A Court of Mist and Fury. So I needed to get that on the TBR anyway. And now it's on here because of the series spinner room. That was very nice. Thank you. I'm really glad that that's what I did. So, yeah, that's the second book of this TBR, is A Court of Mist and Fury. And then finally, for like the recap of August, I also had a mood read, which means that I just had to read one extra book that wasn't on the TBR. In order to complete that prompt, I read a few books that weren't on my TBR, but the one I wrote down here is Chasing Nightmares by Nicole Aisling, which I have for review, and it was pretty good. So go read that. Full thoughts on my wrap up. So yeah, now that that is all done, let's get into the actual game for September. So I decided to play with the red goose today. So roll number 1. A 5, a 3, and another 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Normal prompt. And the prompt is a yellow or orange cover. So the first roll gave me the prompt yellow or orange cover, and when I saw this prompt, I was a little scared because I was like, what are books with yellow or orange covers? I couldn't think of any, and now I'm just looking over there at my bookshelf and I see like 3 straight away. Okay then, but the one I ended up picking was one that I had to read for my priority series. TBR, it will not finish a series but catch up with a series, which is La Fortresse du Roi Xiang. It's the French title, which is the original language because there was no English version. It is the 3rd volume in the Castan comic series, which is a series. It started off as historical fiction, but then the second album introduced some fantasy elements about this group of French marine people who got captured by pirates and ended up fighting in the army of this fictional Asian country, or Asian inspired country, due to some things. I casually enjoyed the first 2 albums. I had fun with them, but not a ton of thoughts. So this will get me caught up with the series, but I think the 4th album will be released fairly soon. I've already seen a pre-order link, so shouldn't need to wait for too long. But yeah, that is the first official book that the game gives me, not just my last month's TBR in a comic, so a pretty short and quick one. So yay! Roll number 2. A 2, a 4, and a 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another regular prompt. And the prompt is adapted. So something that has been adapted in a movie or TV show, or some form of other media. Okay. The second roll gave me the prompt adapted, and again I had to think a little bit. But for this one, I'm going to put another Virgin River book. I don't know how many seasons Virgin River was, and so like how far into the book series they've adapted, but I know that there was a TV show of Virgin River. So the next one for me is book number 6, which is Temptation Ridge. I don't know anything about it, but I loved the first 4. Really did not like book 5. Was really disappointed at that. Really sad. So I hope that book 6 is gonna be a favorite again. So yeah, that's when is going on the TBR. Roll number 3. A 2, a 1, and a 2. That is not very big. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Goose prompt, we're not moving. I'm probably gonna be really in frame, but like in the worst way. So, okay. There we have one. And it is Series Spinner Wheel. Again, it's a different one because I took out the one that I just had, but I have 2 of these in here, so roll the Series Spinner Wheel again, I guess. So next I had another goose spot, and it gave me Series Spinner Wheel for the second time this game. Okay, that's cool. I'll insert the clip here. And as you can see, I got Big Panda Tiny Dragon. It almost landed on Castan, which means I would have to spin again because I just put the last volume that is currently out on here. But it didn't. It didn't land on a Big Panda Tiny Dragon. Which I'm not particularly mad about it because I enjoy it and it's pretty quick as well. But I was not expecting it. This is starting to become a really weird TBR. But okay, if you don't know this is one of those like picture book for adults where they have like this. James Norbury does these really stunning ones, with like different mediums that he switches back and forth in, but these really beautiful images, and then they have this list quotes that like maybe are a bit cheesy, maybe are a bit cliche, like aren't maybe the deepest thing in the world, but you know what, sometimes they're just things that you need to hear, and I enjoy it to read it from time to time. So yeah, I'll be reading that, and it'll finish a series, which is good, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't on my bingo card, so I'm not sure how I feel right now. Anyway, let's move on. Roll number 4, I think. A 2, a 2, and a 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll land another goose spot where we don't move. This was the right game, apparently, to make that change. Okay, I'm just gonna move it here so I can, that's just a bit easier for me. There we have one. It says, treat is a normal spot, so if I would have to move, I wouldn't, but I don't have to anyway, and I just pick a normal prompt. And the prompt is a book I know nothing about. Okay. Hi, this is future me from even further in the future than previous future me. I just wanted to pop in because I realized that I just wasn't very smart with how I picked the book for this, so I'm just gonna pretend that my initial choice didn't happen, and I'm gonna replace it with a short story collection because I wanted to get some short story collections, or at least one, on here. So instead of the book I actually picked, I'm gonna put on Metamorphosis by Penelope Lively, which, as I say, I don't know anything about, which kind of tracks because it's harder to know a lot about short stories because there are multiple things, like you can't just look up one synopsis for the book or something. So yeah, that's going on here. I think they're just like general literary fiction type stories. I don't think they're speculative, but yeah, I don't know. So this is a book that's going on here. On to next roll. Roll number 5, question mark. A 3, a 4, and a 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Normal prompt. And the prompt is month times 100 pages. September the 9th month. That's 900 pages. Thanks. So then I got the prompt of month time 100 pages. September is the 9th month. So that's 900 pages. I mean, it could be worse. I could have gotten this in December, but it's fine. It actually works out because I have been wanting to read The Wall of Storms by Klauw for a while, which is 880, so that's close enough to 900. But I kept putting it off, so maybe this will push me to read it. So there it is, second book in the Dandelion Dynasty series. I really love the first book, but I heard it's quite different, so we'll see how it goes. I actually think that I'm going to read it surprisingly quickly, just for the length. Like, it's not like I'm going to read this in a day, but like, it's not going to take me as long as you'd expect from like a 900-page book, I think. I hope. So yeah, The Wall of Storms. There we go. Roll number 6. A 2, a 6, and a 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be our last prompt because there's no way with 3 days we're not hitting that. So, only 2 more books. Okay, normal prompt. And the prompt is library recommendation. Okay, so what this is my library has a service where every month I get a list of book recommendations, so I need to pick one of those. I haven't actually looked at the August picks. I don't have the September picks yet because I get it, I get them in September, so I don't have them yet. So it's going to be one of the August picks. I haven't actually looked at them yet. So we'll see what's in there. So the next one gave me library rec. So I looked. And the thing is, I've been wanting to canceling the thing, but like it won't let me because it's like one of those annoying things where like it's online. If you want to cancel it, like you have to press the thing, but then the thing then doesn't work, and so like you can't really cancel it. It's free, so it's like it's hurting me. It's just I don't open the thing anymore. The reason is because the recommendations are so trash at this point. Which there were again, there was like nothing. Like I got over 20 recs and there was nothing that I wanted to read in there. So I'm not just gonna force myself to read a book that I don't actually want to read just because of this game. I'm just gonna draw again. So call me a cheater. I don't care. I'm gonna draw a new one. There. A thriller. I can work with that. So as a new prompt, I got thriller, which is a much better prompt. So I decided to go with Lying in the Deep by Diana Urban. This is a YA thriller set on a boat and people dying and our main character having to clear her name. And there's like betrayal and stuff. So yeah, YA thriller is going on. This is probably the most random TBR I've ever had. So, on to the final roll, I guess. So the final roll, this is just a formality, but I'll just roll. Oh look, we have enough to make it here. Who's surprised? I'll take you to the random number generator. Here we have the random number generator. As you can see, we have 452 books filled, so 452, generate, and the number is 194. So let's see, 194. Magycker by Adrian Stone. Oh, this is actually pretty good. This is a fantasy book by a Dutch author, even though his name sounds English. But I'll have to check for the synopsis. So, yeah, this is the book. So we're just at the random number generator, and right when I stopped recording and I hit save, the battery of my laptop died. So I really hope that that's saved. I'm just gonna manifest it and record this clip as if it did save, but the one it picked was the Klauw by Adrian Stone, which is the first book in the Magycker series. It's a Dutch fantasy series, but I couldn't find an English version of it. But normally I would read a synopsis from Goodreads now for my laptop, but again, the battery died. It's charging now. I really hope that's saved. So I was able to look it up on my phone before I started filming this clip, but now I'm filming on here, so I can't read it off. But I'll just tell you what it's about in my own words. So we have the society where people can buy a spell or a magic from the Magyckers Guild, I guess. And then they can use it one time and then they forget the spell. But then one day, our main character's autistic brother, which, yay, autism rep in fantasy, he is able to use a spell that he bought twice, which is very unheard of, and the Magyckers obviously don't want that because now they can't make profit of the magic anymore. People just remember their spells and they can like buy it once and then have it forever, versus like having to pay them every time that they want to use a spell. So they're like, when they want to know who used the spell that they don't have like in their books as something that was paid for. And so our main character has to hide her brother, I think, from them. I think it actually could be good. I was a little worried when I saw it because it was one of the books in there that I put on there because I wanted to read it at some point, but I couldn't remember what it was about. So, which is why I do the random number generator, because I think that's fun like that I get to read those books again. But like now that I've read the synopsis, I'm really hyped again. So yeah, that is a happy ending of still an incredibly random TBR. Now the problem is I also write down like the different prompts and different books that I pick on my laptop. So usually like right now, we'll just look to give you an overview, but I can't do that right now. Luckily, I kept like the cards with the prompts over there, so I can maybe like see what the prompts are and then try to remember what the books were. So this is gonna go from memory. So yeah, so the books that the game gave me were first a rollover, which was The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. Then A Court of Mist and Fury for a series spinner wheel pick. Then I had La Fortresse du Roi Xiang by Alexandre and Raphaël Morellon for a book with a yellow or orange cover. Okay, I can't just remember. I'm gonna have to look. Give me a second. I got the papers with the prompts on them. You can see it. So now I got a book that is adapted. So I picked Temptation Ridge by Robyn Carr. Then I had another series spinner wheel, which picked Big Panda Tiny Dragon. Then a book I know nothing about, for which I picked Metamorphosis by Penelope Lively. Then I had The Month Times 100 Pages, so a book that is about 900 pages. For that, I picked The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. A thriller, which is Lying in the Deep by Dana. Hey, I only now realize that the title is a pun because lying can mean two things. That took me an embarrassingly long amount of time. Okay, and then finally, the Klauw for the random number generator. I have 2 more books that I also have to read this month, or like don't have to read, but like buddy reads that I have planned that I would like to be able to do this month. The first one is Kirsten's book club, reading of her book club. The September pick is The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton, which is a bit of a genre blend with like an apocalyptic thing, you know, the end of the world, and then a murder, and they have to solve it before the world ends. They have a limited amount of time because things need to be balanced, I guess, or something along those lines. Again, I can't check because my laptop is dead. And then the other book that I have as a buddy read is with Tori from Tori Talks, and like there's a couple of other people. She organized it. I just joined. And that is for Piranesi by Susanne Clarke. People tell you to go in blind, so that's what I'm gonna do. But I noticed like a bit like vibey, labyrinthine, fantasy type book. I've heard great things. I've been wanting to read it for a while, so when I heard about the buddy read, I thought, you know what, this is a great time for that. So we made it to the end of a TBR that I did not see coming. I've said it a few times. If you would have told me before I started filming that I would end up with this TBR, I would be like, what happened during that game? But yeah, this is what I'm gonna read. I'm sad that I wasn't able to fit a short story collection on here for Short Stories October, but I'll try to at least start one. Maybe I'll just read like a few short stories this month and then finish the collection in October, or the anthology, which is not the same thing. You know, I'll pick something. I have nothing specific in mind for that. So we'll see. That was the video. If you have any thoughts about the books on this TBR, feel free to share them down below, and also let me know some books that you're excited to read in the month of September. And I'll hope to see you again in another video. Bye.